Hi, Naomi. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm excited to learn more about you and your career in ITS management.
Hi, Gwen. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
How long have you been with Ray Allen, and what is your current role?
I have been with Ray Allen coming up on 7 years this March, and I am a product manager.
So, how did you begin your career, and how did you become interested in this field?
Kind of fell into the industry by accident. I've had a varying career doing quite a few odd jobs. My schooling and education is in the arts, but I worked various admin roles throughout college. So that basically helped me to land my first role in this industry as a data administrator. And it was really on that job that I learned about this industry, and from there moved into maintenance renewal sales. I did kind of take a hiatus from the industry for a while to go back to grad school. And then when I started at Ray Allen in 2015 is when I moved more into asset management. And while working on that team, I began to work with our engineers on the BI platform and really started to become interested in the product management role. And my managers at Ray Allen were very supportive of my kind of career development and interest in product management, and helped to kind of put me on more projects and connect me with learning courses and things like that. And I've now been a product manager at Ray Allen for about 4 years, and I really love it.
Wow, that's such a neat journey coming from not really knowing what the field was to becoming a product manager in the industry.
Yeah.
That's so neat. So, bringing it back to the present, what are your
Mhm.
main responsibilities in your current role, and what is a typical day or week like for you?
Yeah, so currently I support a couple of platforms, and my role is really a mix of strategic and tactical. So a typical week includes a few hours of meetings a day, interspersed with project and work time. On a strategic level, I work with the business to identify and capture requirements, facilitate planning and execution efforts. And on a technical level, I actually write user stories for the development team to code. And some really fun activities for me are drafting up process workflows and mockups. And I do also manage the development team backlogs and run our sprint planning meetings.
Wow. So that's kind of runs the gamut there in terms of, going from the technical micro details of everything to the strategic and macro view. That's really neat. Sounds
Yeah, and
fascinating.
it keeps me busy.
So what skills and or personality traits do you deem essential for success in this role?
Yeah, so there are definitely a few skills that I think are pretty important. Being able to communicate well is key. The product manager needs to be able to work with the stakeholders and communicate about the plans and timelines, provide status updates, as well as communicate if there are any challenges that have been, encountered. But they also need to be able to communicate with developers and translate those business requirements into user stories that can then be coded. Additionally, it's really important for product managers to be able to zoom in and zoom back out. So, being able to pay attention and really get into the weeds on detail, but then also being able to step back and look at the big picture. So, product managers need to be able to translate the lofty vision for the platform into workable user stories so that the vision can actually become a reality. Don't have a technical background. Like I've mentioned, my education is in the art, and so I personally don't know how to code. But it is important to be able to comprehend high level technical concepts, such as the architectural framework of the platform. And I've worked with some amazing engineers, developers, and architects here at Ray Allen who have taken the time to explain those concepts to me. And that's really helped me to become better at what I do.
So speaking of your artistic background, what are some of the hobbies that you have outside of work to keep that work-life balance?
Yeah, so I do keep up with my kind of creative side, and I do continue to make art in my free time. And I also like to try to get out and see art exhibitions. Not as many recently, but yeah, we've got some great museum and gallery spaces here in Denver. So I do like to also see what other people are making and work on my own art as well. But outside of the arts, then I love to read. I'm always working on a book. I love fiction stories. For me, that's kind of my escape. And I've also got a very cute and sweet dog, and love to go on walks with her, play with her, kind of unwind with her.
Well, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with me today, Naomi. This was great.
Thanks for having me.